You ever feel like you're doing everything right in your career, but you're still not where you want to be? If you feel like your passion isn't translating into progress, I've been there. Just this past week, I celebrated 20 years of service with the company that I work for. Also, I spent 6 years at another company before that. Stick around, I'm gonna give you 5 things that I've done that can help you come out of a rut if you're stuck in a rut in your career. Okay, the first bit of advice I'd give you is to stay curious and keep learning. For me, this means learning as much as I possibly can about the job that I'm currently in. I saw a great quote the other day that's basically like, hey, don't worry about your next move. Instead, focus on learning as much as you possibly can about the job that you're in currently. I think there's a lot of wisdom in that and something that we could all take away. The other thing is, what are you doing to grow outside of just your job? So one of the things that I'm a huge proponent of is reading. And personally, I love to read self-improvement books and books around human psychology. Things like that just really intrigue me, and I find value like, hey, this could actually help me sometime down the road. So I better learn these things and then apply them in my life. So the next tip I'll give you today is build relationships, not just resumes. Be the person that everybody wants on their project team. So how do you do that? Okay, you want to be approachable, you want to be friendly. One of the things I like to think about is, hey, any project that I work on, anything that I touch, I want it to turn to gold. So I tell myself that. It's like, hey, I'm not going to just half-ass this job. I'm going to give it my all, do the very best I can, and at the end of the day, I'm going to feel good about it. The next tip I want to give you is to communicate upward. So there's a problem that I see with newer workers, newer engineers specifically where I'm at, where they get intimidated by leaders, oftentimes senior leaders. Like, they don't want that visibility and they just kind of want to fly under the radar. And I've seen people get really backed up in their career because they get so nervous, I guess, around leaders. And then when it comes time for promotions and performance management and things like that, oftentimes the leaders don't even know who the person is because they haven't had any interactions with them. And I'll tell you what, that is not a good situation to be in, because as competitive as a lot of workplaces are these days, you want the senior leaders to know who you are. They want to know your name, or you want them to know your name. You want them to know your face. You want them to know what kind of work you've been doing, and hopefully building yourself an excellent reputation around the office. I also want to encourage you to be open about your goals. Some of the career advancement that I've had in my life has been because I've been completely honest with myself and then open with my managers about what I want to do. So specifically, I've tailored my career toward product design, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that for the last 26 years, and I love it, and that's my passion. Also, having that conversation with your manager if you feel like, if you ever feel like you're maybe stuck in your current role. So let me give you an example of that. When I was 2.5 years into my current company as a full-time employee, I was working as a design engineer, and I was starting to feel kind of bored, I guess, is how I was feeling. So I had a conversation with my manager. I said, you know what? I'm starting to feel kind of like a one-trick pony, and I didn't like where that was heading. So I said, you know what I would really like is I would like to get some project management experience. And after that conversation, a door just opened up. No more than 2 weeks later, I had the chief engineer call me into a conference room, and I remember sitting there, and he said,
"Hey, Steve, I understand you want to get some project management experience."
Like, yeah, I really do. It's like,
okay, we're going to redeploy you. We've got a job free here in mechanical development engineering, and we've got a spot for you right away. When can you start?
So just wrapped up a couple of things, and then, before you knew it, I was up there doing completely different work that challenged me and helped me grow in an area where I was feeling deficient. So it was the perfect career move at just the right time. So if you're ever feeling like, hey, I'm feeling kind of stuck in my current role, and feeling kind of stagnant and I need some growth, have that conversation with your manager. They can't read your mind. They can't guess that you're feeling stuck. And the best way, I think, to advance in a corporation like that, especially if you're doing a good job, is to tell your manager, have them in your corner, and then remind them. In your, maybe once a month, say, hey, I'm still, interested in another position. If there's anything that you hear of that comes up, because then what can happen there is your manager can have conversations with other managers and open up something for you. The fourth tip I'll give you is to rest and recharge without guilt. It's absolutely critical that we take some time away from work in order to rest and recharge ourselves so that we can bring our best selves back to our job. I think of rest as like performance fuel. You need it in order to be at your top performance. Because the reality is, if you burn out, nobody's going to get your best. I remember going on a camping trip one time when my kids were little. We used to have a travel trailer and we'd be camping. And I stopped by a friend's campsite who also worked at the same company, and he had his laptop out and he was doing work. And I was like, so I asked him, I said, what are you doing here? He said,
well, I'm a manager. I have to work.
I'm like, well, what do you mean? It's like, I'm a manager too. I'm not bringing my laptop to the campground. I'm unplugging. I'm giving myself to my family this weekend. And I would just kind of open my eyes like, okay, that's definitely a path to burnout. If you're the kind of person who takes work with you all the time, works morning, noon, and night, and sets your family priorities aside to focus on your work, I'm sorry, but that just doesn't fly with me. Then the fifth tip I would give you is to focus on a bigger purpose. So for me personally, I know that the work I do is employing 1,500 people plus. That's just at the factory that I work at. And if I bring my best self to work and do the best job that I possibly can, I know that there's 1,500 people plus their families that are going to benefit from that. Not to mention the local economy that also supports. So it's awesome to have what I would consider a higher purpose with my career beyond just the getting the paycheck, getting the recognition of a job well done and things like that. Is there another motivation that you might have to bring to your job that would help you to stay motivated? I think another thing that anchors me is my faith. So I'm active in my church. I'm currently play on the worship team every Sunday, and I would encourage you to find something like that. Whether you're a Christian or a different religion or whatever kind of spirituality you're into. I think there's a lot of value to having something like that to help drive you beyond just, hey, I'm working hard because I want the money. There's so much more to life than just the money to build a successful life and a successful career. If this video spoke to you, please do give it a like. If you haven't subscribed to the Building Success channel yet, please consider subscribing. I'd love to be able to continue to share these kind of life lessons with you. These are a new style of video that I've just recently started doing. These basically script list videos where I just kind of walk and talk, because personally those are the ones that I like, and I think you might enjoy them as well. So my challenge for you is to pick one of the 5 strategies that I mentioned earlier and apply it this week. So let's recap. So curiosity is a long game advantage. Relationships are assets. Rest is strategy. Speak your goals. Purpose gives power. I've spent 26 years building a successful career in engineering, and I've done it all without sucking up, getting lucky. Well, we've got fire sirens going off now, so that's gonna slow me down a little bit here on this video. We'll film some B-roll. Okay, now we're back. Want to go deeper? Click on this next video that's popping up right now. I'm sure you're going to love it. I'll see you there.